Got your things on?
Get your chair legs.
All right. Let's all please stand. Almighty God, we pray for your blessing upon this council, help and prosper its work for the advancements and beliefs of its people, so that peace and happiness, unity and justice may be established amongst us all. Amen. Please be seated. Manningham City Council acknowledges the Wurundjeri people as the traditional custodians of the land we now know as Manningham. We pay our respects to elders past and present and value the ongoing contribution to the cultural heritage of Manningham. I welcome all members of the public here tonight to this council meeting who have come along to observe proceedings. I'd like to advise those present that tonight's meeting is being audio and video recorded. All care will be taken to maintain your privacy. However, as a visitor in the public gallery, your presence may be recorded. By remaining in the gallery, it is assumed your consent is given in the event that your voice and/or image is broadcast. Manningham City Council also would like to acknowledge the contribution made to Manningham over the years by people of diverse backgrounds and cultures. All council meetings are conducted by a meeting procedure local law. I will introduce each item of business as listed on the agenda by calling it by number and by reading the title. Then I will call for a mover and a seconder of a motion on the item before opening any debate. Only councillors are able to join the debate on an item. Councillors may adopt the officer's recommendation in the report or propose amendments and supplementary motions. I draw your attention to two opportunities for you to ask questions tonight. Verbal question time allows people who registered prior to the meeting to ask questions, but only about issues which are not on the agenda. Written questions are dealt with towards the end of the meeting, and these can be about any issue, including items on tonight's agenda. Item number 2, apologies and requests for leave of absence.
Madam Mayor, there are no apologies for tonight's meeting.
Item number 3, prior notification of conflict of interest.
Madam Mayor, there are no notifications of any conflict of interest.
Item number 4, confirmation of minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Zafiropoulos. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chen. Councillor Zafiropoulos.
Madam Mayor, I move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting of Council held on 25 July 2017 be confirmed.
Do you have anything to add, Councillor Zafiropoulos?
No, that's it.
Councillor Chen?
Nothing further.
Any against? I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Item number 5, verbal questions from the public.
Madam Mayor, there are no questions.
Item number 6, presentations.
Madam Mayor, there are no presentations.
Item number 7, petitions. 7.1, petition, Carlton Court Walkway, Templestowe, Heidi Ward. Do I have a mover?
Madam Mayor, I move that a petition with 30 supporters requesting Council to cease work currently underway in the Carlton Court Walkway, Templestowe, and to consult with the community to be received and referred to the appropriate officer for consideration.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Piccinini. Councillor Goff?
No.
Councillor Piccinini?
Nothing further.
Any speakers against? Put that to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Item number 8, admission of urgent business.
Madam Mayor, there are no items of urgent business.
Item number 9, planning permit applications. 9.1, planning application PL 16/026951 at 27 to 29 Serples Road, Templestowe, for the construction of a 3-storey apartment building comprising 30 dwellings, above basement and sub-basement car parking. Do I have a mover?
So moved, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Goff. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Piccinini. Councillor Goff?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I rise to speak to this permit application and to make it very clear, the officer's recommendation is for a refusal of this application. The refusal, there have been a number of people that have objected to this particular development and they've objected on reasons of overdevelopment, the land use or whatever. However, this particular application is in our DDO8 area, and this sort of development is what will be the finished form, or something like this sort of development of multi-storey building has the ability to be built there, and I don't know in the future, but it could perhaps a similar sort of design building go there. However, there have been a number of things that haven't been achieved with what we've put in our guidelines and within our DDO8. And a number of these haven't been met as far as the council is concerned. One part of it is on neighbourhood character. However, that style of building will be able to be built there. But more particular, that building and the plan's integration with the street, the fence and the treatment of the fence were important things in deciding that it didn't fit within that local character in that local area. There were problems with the side and rear setbacks, and there was also issues of overshadowing into the open spaces of other dwellings around the area. And there are other design features and design elements that needed to be changed on this here. It's a bit sad that with an application that comes in, that these things were able to be achieved and could have been done in a period of time, but the proponents have failed to do so. And so therefore, I believe that we should not accept this and go along with the officers and refuse the application.
Thank you, Councillor Goff. Councillor Piccinini?
Nothing further to add, Madam Mayor.
Any speakers against? I'll put that to a vote. Those in favour? Carried. 9.2, planning application PL 17/027226 at intersection of Kangaroo Ground, Warrandyte Road and Yarra Street, Warrandyte, for vegetation removal, 5 trees, and roadworks associated with the construction of new left turn lane and shared footpath on the bridge. A mover, Councillor McLeish.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move an alternate motion that Council issue a notice of decision to grant a permit for roadworks and vegetation associated with the upgrade of vegetation removal associated with the upgrade of Warrandyte Bridge, including new shared footpaths and additional lane on the Kangaroo Ground, Warrandyte Road, and the upgrade of the roundabout at Yarra Street, subject to the conditions which are noted in the papers distributed.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Galbally. Councillor McLeish?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm pleased to rise to speak to this particular matter, Madam Mayor, because it's been of great concern to the community of Warrandyte and more generally in Manningham and indeed in North Warrandyte and Nillumbik that there be an upgrade to the Warrandyte Bridge in order to better provide for safe passage of the residents on a day-to-day basis and address growing traffic concerns in that particular area of the municipality, but also to provide an improved and safer access in the event of a fire emergency in the town. The intent of this particular proposition from Vic Roads is to expand the bridge by 1 car lane southbound, but also to enhance the pedestrian functions of the bridge by both upgrading the eastern path by resurfacing it and giving it a surface that's actually safe to traverse, and by building a new path on the western side, which will become a 3 metre shared path, which will also suit cyclists as well as the existing pedestrian traffic. This is a substantial change to the bridge and will actually have quite a considerable impact on the local community. We are seeing traffic jams of 1 and 2 kilometres in the morning, tailing back into the Research Road and tailing back up the road to the north. The Kangaroo Ground Road, thank you, I couldn't find the word. And also in the evening we're seeing substantial delays queuing up through the Warrandyte Township, all the way through the township and at times right out to the other roundabout. It's a terrible concern for the town to see this traffic in the area, and there's no doubt that upgrading the bridge will, for a period of time, address these traffic concerns. Quite for how long remains to be seen. I have moved the alternate motion because I have, having listened to the community's concerns through various consultation mechanisms and had detailed discussions with my fellow ward councillors and with Vic Roads, we have come to the conclusion that the proposal needs to include a pedestrian crossing on the northern side of Yarra Street, so that pedestrians traversing that footpath can actually still cross at Kangaroo Ground, Warrandyte Road. At the moment, pedestrians are able to walk across that intersection, and under the plans that were proposed by Vic Roads, that pedestrian access point would be removed. We don't believe this is safe. We don't believe it services the children in the community or the town itself more generally, as people spend a lot of time walking in Warrandyte. It's a very, very popular walking place. There's a significant community market which occurs in the town. There's a limited amount of parking, and the riverside parking is in high demand, and making sure all of that and the shops at either end of the town are all accessible can only be best performed, in our view, by ensuring that that northern pedestrian crossing is provided. The proposal includes removal of 5 native trees and has done the best possible job that they can, I believe, in trying to keep with the appearance and character of the heritage place which is Warrandyte. The Yarra Street precinct is a significant part of the heritage place which is Warrandyte, and ensuring that as far as is reasonably possible, the changes to the bridge preserve that appearance and preserve that character of the Warrandyte Township is of vital significance to the people in Warrandyte and to our community more generally. There has been great input from the community through reference panels and consultation with Vic Roads. They've been able to influence the design and improve the design, and I'm pleased to be able to stand here and help to represent that community in the proposal we see before us, and I very much hope that my fellow councillors will be able to support this proposition.
Thank you. Councillor Galbally?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. It's been a long time coming, any work on this bridge, which has posed problems not only for Warrandytians but for people traversing north and south. With the newer developments that have come up further north of the Yarra, we've seen a big increase in traffic coming on the roads. As Councillor McLeish has said, the lines at peak hours go for a kilometre down the road. Now, with this, obviously, is affecting the local people in a big way, and I think Council and our council officers and Vic Roads have tried very hard to sort of work within the Heritage Advisory panel and what's required there. My biggest concern right from the beginning has been, well, the time that it's taken to do this work. And sadly, we're going to miss the next fire season because of delays, but we have to get it right. And the widening of these of the bridge with that extra lane is actually causing, I think, even a bigger pedestrian safety problem. And I don't think it's been addressed sufficiently with the Vic Roads proposal. So, so that is why I support Councillor McLeish's amendment, which actually insists on this to be addressed in their building. We have to have a safe pedestrian crossing on Yarra Road. It's not only the children and the locals who know the area and probably are more aware of the dangers, it's also our visitors, and because it is a tourist area, especially at holidays and weekends. And the signs signage sort of alerting people to go down the riverside, I don't think is adequately considering the fact that not everyone can read English for a start, and we do have a lot of tourists in Warrandyte, but access-wise, people will always find this shorter route. So if they're going to just cross the road, they'll prefer to do that than go down a rickety path down towards the river. So well done to Councillor McLeish for bringing this alternate. If he didn't do it, I'm sure Councillor Conlon and myself would have done it too. And I hope you all support this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Any speakers against? I'll put that to a vote. Those in favour? Carried. Item number 10, Planning and Environment.
Madam Mayor, there are no planning and environment reports.
I'd like to remind people in the gallery that we will be clearing the questions box shortly. Please submit any questions you may have in a few minutes. I would also stress that I will deal with a maximum of 2 questions per person. If you have more than 2 questions, please submit these additional questions in writing to the Council through the normal channels. Item 14.2, Record of Assembly of Councils. Do I have a mover? Councillor Haynes.
I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Jumped a little bit, Madam Mayor.
I have jumped a page.
Page 4.
Well, it's going to be a short meeting.
I'm so sorry.
I'll have to learn how to get that right.
Thank you, Rito. We'll go now to item point 11. Okay, assets and engineering. 11.1, council support for bus rapid transport BRT. Do I have a mover? Councillor Chen.
Madam Mayor, I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Zafiropoulos. Councillor Chen?
Yes, Madam Mayor. As we all know that Manningham is the only municipality in metropolitan Melbourne that is not serviced by either tram or tram. The only public transport is buses. As part of the council's ongoing advocacy campaign for public transport network in Manningham, the Doncaster Bus Rapid Transit, which we also call the BRT proposal, provides solution for the mass transit from CBD to Manningham in short and medium terms. The progress so far is promising and could become our immediate priority because BRT is the key recommendation in Victoria's 30-year infrastructure strategy prepared by Infrastructure Victoria in 2016 and supported by the current state government. A proposal developed by Transdev, our current bus operator, is currently being considered by the state government. Also, the Minister for Public Transport, in her recent correspondence, confirming funding allocation for feasibility study on BRT. The development of Premier and Cabinet's 5-year infrastructure plan due to be released in December this year, and it is prudent to ensure that the planning and delivery of BRT is considered in this plan. Madam Mayor, it is now more crucial than ever that our advocacy campaign on BRT to ensure that it is properly funded, planned, and constructed by the year 2022. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Zafiropoulos.
I think Councillor Chen has outlined the benefits that we will gain as a result of improving our bus services. She pointed out that we are the only municipality in the metropolitan area without train and tram, and that has got adverse consequences. For instance, the average number of cars per household are much higher in Manningham than any other municipality. We also have a problem of the proportion of people using public transport. In Manningham, 11%, the rest of the metropolitan area, 16%. Consequently, it's imperative for us to make sure that we advocate in the best possible way, not only as a council, but as a municipality, to approach our local members, to write to the Minister for Public Transport and so on, and to argue that this is a very important issue and we need their support. So I strongly support Councillor Sen's motion.
Thank you. Any speakers against? Put that to a vote. Those in favour? Carried. Item 11.2, Deep Creek Reserve, use of floodlights for baseball competition. Do I have a mover? Councillor McLeish.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Conlon. Councillor McLeish.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm pleased to rise to speak to this because our council has recently upgraded the Deep Creek Reserve on the Heidelberg-Warrandyte Road. We've installed some new lights. We've gone through a consultation period with our community who live in the neighbourhood of this particular reserve to see if they're amenable to implementing night games for junior baseball competition. And there's been a limited amount of feedback. The vast majority of the community didn't say anything, and that usually means that the community is in support of the proposal. So this particular motion is about conducting a trial of precisely that, night games of baseball for junior baseballers at this particular reserve. I think it's a great initiative, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing more youth participation. There are 150 junior members out of this, which is half the membership of the club, who are keen to get out there and start making use of this wonderful facility. So I hope my fellow councillors will support the initiative, and hopefully this particular reserve will survive the contemplation by the state government of the North East Link, because this particular reserve is bang in the middle of the path of a couple of the options. So clearly, if there was to be a road put through that particular part of a beautiful part of our municipality, it would be a sad outcome for some, I'm certain. We would be able to see the reserve replaced. But in the meantime, we've just invested a lot of money and hopefully we can make good use of it.
Thank you. Councillor Conlon.
Nothing further.
Any speakers against? I'll put that to a vote. Those in favour? Carried. Item 11.3, Mullumbullen Stadium, expression of interest process for stadium use. Do I have a mover? Councillor Conlon.
So I'd like to move that the recommendation be adopted.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor McLeish. Councillor Conlon.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a great step forward in terms of Mullumbullen Stadium. Unfortunately, I was on the council, the last council that actually approved the plans, but I'd like to congratulate all the councillors then who served on that council for that good work. And as I drive past that on a daily basis, it's great to see that the progress is being made. In regard to the expression of interest, this will be covered by Manningham YMCA, and so I'd also like to extend our thanks to the Manningham YMCA for taking on this task to manage and operate that stadium when it's complete. I'm assured that the building timeline is on track, and so we expect for that to be available to the community in early 2018. And I hope that all the Manningham sports clubs support the expression of interest and get on board with a great stadium, which will be a great asset to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McLeish.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It is indeed an exciting day to see this particular step along the path to making Mullumbullen Stadium the feature stadium in our municipality. There are other stadiums, of course, but seeing the gap of 15 courts closed by 5 by this national state class facility is a wonderful thing. and opening up the opportunity to the clubs in our community across a wide range of sports is going to be a wonderful thing. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the new facility open, very much looking forward to seeing the clubs tenanting the facility in their own way, playing games in that facility, and I think we'll be seeing that within a year. I'm hopeful to see we'll be seeing that within a year, that we'll be seeing live games played at that facility. So it's great to see the project on track, and then we're now taking out to our community the opportunity to bid for court time in the various sports.
Thank you. Any speakers against? We'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Item 12, community programs.
Madam Mayor, there are no community program reports.
Item 13, shared services.
Madam Mayor, there are no shared services reports.
Item 14, Chief Executive Officer. Item 14.1, Manningham Quarterly Report 2016-17, Quarter 4, April to June 2017. I have a mover. Councillor McLeish.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Piccinini. Councillor McLeish.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's another first-class report from our CEO and therefore from the council organisation, telling us just how effectively the organisation is operating. It's telling us a great deal about a summary of the capital works. It's a summary of the capital works, of course, for the financial year. And we can see that they've done an amazing job where 96.3% of the adopted budget has actually been expended on capital works project. That is a great credit to the organisation that they've been able to achieve that. People in our community don't really quite understand how difficult that is to achieve, to keep projects on target, to keep the spending rolling along, and to make sure that the planned projects are actually executed. It's a very, very complex challenge in an organisation as large and diverse as our council, and the organisation deserves a great deal of credit for what they've done in ensuring that that particular goal has been achieved. So congratulations to the CEO and to the staff, especially those in assets and engineering, for what they've achieved. From a revenue perspective, the council budget looks very healthy. We've had a very good year as far as keeping the finances in order are concerned. There are, of course, some challenges in that, and it does actually look a little strange, some of the numbers there, because there is a significant revenue variation. The revenue variation is quite large, it's 17 million, and that's contributed to a large surplus. But there is a caveat in the middle of that, because a substantial portion of that $17 million are non-cash items where developers have contributed assets to the city. So this is when property development such as the Tullamore development actually complete part of their infrastructure, and the road and footpath and drainage assets are transferred to council. So they're non-cash items. And that's an increase in the asset base of our city, but the way it appears in the financial records can make you think that there is suddenly a massive surplus. It isn't actually a cash surplus. So I wouldn't want anyone to think that council's suddenly rolling in cash. We aren't. We are continuing as an organisation to work quite frugally within a rate capping environment. We're delivering the services that the community wants to see. We're building the assets that we can afford to build, and we're doing it within the constraints of a CPI-based increase in rates. So that is a great credit to the organisation that they've been able to actually improve the operations, implement new initiatives such as Mullam Stadium, such as Citizens Connect, which is improving significantly the quality of service that we offer our community, and delivering on a range of other initiatives, such as one of my favourite ones, the Mullam Creek Linear Park. I won't talk any further about that, otherwise somebody might throw something at me. I'll leave it at that, councillors, and I would like to congratulate the CEO, the executive team and the organisation for an excellent result at the end of the financial year.
Thank you. Councillor Piccinini?
Nothing further to add, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any speakers against? Let me put that to a vote. Those in favour? Carried. Now 14.2, record of assembly of councillors. Do I have a mover? Councillor Haynes.
I move that the recommendation be adopted.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Chen. Councillor Haynes.
It speaks for itself. Nothing further to add.
Councillor Chen.
Nothing further to add.
Any speakers against? I'll put that to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Item 14.3, documents for sealing. Do I have a mover? Councillor Haynes.
I move that the recommendation be adopted with the addition of the following agreement. Consent agreement to build over an easement, Section 173 of the Planning and Environment Act 1987. Council and MR and VL Richia, 48 Lowen Avenue, Templestowe Lower.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Galbally. Councillor Haynes?
Nothing further.
Councillor Galbally?
No.
Any speakers against? Put that to a vote. All those in favour? Carried. Item 15, urgent business.
Madam Mayor, there are no items of urgent business.
Item 16, written questions from the public.
Yes, Madam Mayor, there are 2 questions from the public, and I'll read them both. The first question is from Ms Stella Yee. Ms Stella Yee is here. Hello, Stella. First question, why is the performance or lack of the new bins a secret, or is council is not at liberty to disclose? Question 2, how many new bins have had problems either needing repair or replacement since the rollout? I will take that question on notice because I want to make sure that I'm factually correct in terms of the percentages, but I remember that has been reported just recently to council, so I'll be able to provide a full answer to that as soon as possible.
Thank you. Item 17, councillor question time. Councillors, any questions? Item 18, confidential reports. 18.1, personal matters. Do I have a mover? Councillor Piccinini.
I move that council close the meeting to the public pursuant to section 89, subsection 2A of the Local Government Act 1989 to consider item 18.1, which relates to personnel matters.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Councillor McLeish. All those in favour? Carried. I'm now closing the gallery. Thank you.
He's reading his book.